Alright, we're back at it. Just wanted to a little bit of housekeeping. If you want to get right into the action, I am doing chapters on these, so if you want to skip the intro or the recap, feel free to just hop to the next chapter. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about. One is when we fought the Unclean One in the last episode. When you beat the Unclean One, you get Glutton. And Glutton just speeds up your consumable use as well as your Dragon Heart use. Just makes you get through that animation a little bit quicker. And I just focused on so much stuff in that. I just wanted to kind of reiterate: when you fight him downstairs, it's a trade-off. For one, you're going to get a different weapon if you beat the Unclean One downstairs. You're going to get his hammer, which it looks a lot like the thing on top of his head. Downstairs, he uses an axe. The challenge in that fight is that ground pound that he does. It can be very difficult to dodge. The timing on it's weird, does a lot of damage. It's very hard to get a heal in if you get hit with that first one. There's another important aspect of that fight, is that when he does his like spin to win thing with his axe, he will let it go, and he can hit you with it. Upstairs, he'll do it longer, and he just kind of runs out of steam, and he'll just kind of stop. But upstairs, you're dealing with the adds. As he breaks the pots, those adds are going to come out, and that's kind of the trade-off. And then you get the Devastator. So I just kind of wanted to mention that because I forgot to mention that. The other thing, we killed Canker, and let's see here. You can get Corrosive Aura. It creates an aura around you. It looks kind of like Howler's Immunity, where it's just kind of emanating around you, and it will corrode enemy units and affect any armor they may have. We'll go ahead and grab that, and then we're coming up on a couple of the harder boss fights in the game, and that's going to be Ixillis and the Undying King. Now, our weapons are at level 5, our armor is at level 6. I don't think I'm going to change this because I'm going to be switching my armor set real soon. I don't want to dump a bunch of effort into these. But I am going to bring these up because Ixillis, I believe, is somewhere between 8 and 9, level 8 and 9. So we want to beef up just a tad. We've got 8 trait points. And we can throw a couple into recovery. And we'll throw a few into scavenger. I'm getting more trait. I'm doing a lot of adventure mode, so I'm trying not to get too beefy. You may not have that many trait points at this point in the game if you're not going through a bunch of adventure mode. Now the other thing is, I went through. So the dungeon that we killed Canker in, that underground dungeon, that is a fantastic dungeon to get yourself some scrap in. Now I didn't do it in stream. I went back in there afterwards, and I think I walked in there with like 1,800 scrap, and I left with 6,000. You go through that dungeon, that particular underground dungeon, and break everything, you will get a ton of scrap. There's another dungeon just like it, which is Thrall's dungeon. Same deal. There's a few dungeons in the game that are like that. I think we're going to bring... go ahead and bring the sniper. Now I'm going to be using the repeater pistol in this fight. You don't really need to upgrade it, but it's not a terrible idea. So I'll bring it up to... I got plenty to work with here. We'll bring that up to 7. We'll leave armor where it is.
Be safe out there.
I think we'll just work with that. I'm going to swap around. Throw that on. And one more thing before I move on, I have not really been getting into melee weapons, so I thought I'd do that. Now, there's a few different kinds of melee weapons in the game. You probably already know that by now, but they have very different move sets. I personally prefer the sword move set, just because of its backstep attack. But I wanted to show the flails are kind of funny. Now, we don't have a lot of melee weapons, but we do have a flail. Wrong button. The flail, it looks like a. It's just kind of strange looking. Anyway, I usually try to stick to a sword. Scythes are really good. There's some very good melee weapons in this game. We are going to move on here. Let's make sure that I rolled an adventure. I had some time earlier, so I was trying to scout, see what we got, and I will be doing. Let's see. We'll just go back to the Iskal Queen. Now, when it comes time to, so the way we've been doing this is we've been doing, a biome, 2 videos, for the campaign progress in a single biome, and I've been doing an adventure mode for that biome to get the additional events and bosses. And it's been working fine. Now with it's going to get a little more complicated with Corsus because I'm going to do the Corsus DLC. Oh, right between his legs. But the way that's set up, actually I need to talk about this guy because he's going to come into play when we start doing adventure mode. This is a Iskal Infector, and you can find him in different places. We're going to need him. The way you access the DLC is through adventure mode. So you can't do, since I have the DLC on this account, if I roll a Corsus adventure mode, I won't just be getting the base game additional events. So the way I'm going to handle that is we're going to do 2 rolls at the same time, man. We're gonna do the base game additional events and the DLC through in one, hopefully one video, but it might be more content than that. We're gonna see how it goes. And there's some events, there's some additional NPCs in there, there's a couple more boss fights, and so we'll see how long that takes to complete. But I think that's probably the best way to do this. And on top of that, oh, I hear him. Where's he at? Oh, he's coming up. Out of ammo. When I start that, we're going to get into a little bit of a co-op. So I'm going to bring a friend of mine in, Retro, and we're going to do some co-op through the Corsus DLC. And what do I got here? We might have a couple things in here, actually. Let's see. I didn't notice this. Let's see what else we got. We may have out of ammo. May have another boss in here. I was kind of thinking it was just going to be Ixillis left. Let's see what we get here. But yeah, been having just a ton of fun doing this. Aside from wanting to start doing some walkthroughs, it's just giving me the perfect excuse to play through the game again. Alright, we're just gonna... Okay. It's a pretty big little complex in this tile set. There's a couple spots where you can find, there's sometimes a chest up there, but there isn't one right now. There's sometimes a chest up here. There's usually a beetle in this room, but not right now. And there is a chest. Grab this. But yeah, just like any, I'm not doing a lot of it because, you know, it's a walkthrough. I'm trying not to do any farming or anything like that in this walkthrough. But really, anything you see that you can break, we'll get this beetle. We'll give you some scrap, and later on, when we get into Yesha, we're going to get an item that helps quite a bit from that. Alright, going here. Back this way. Let's get some ammo here. You hate to do it. Don't you want to go get your hammer? Okay. What else we got here? This is a pretty large little complex here as well. And we're just looking for anything of value here. Chests. Grab that. Any elites. Always use Illuminite. Another chest here. Step right and run. There he is again. Make sure I'm not backing up into something here. A lot of enemies in this area.
It's over.
What else we got here? Nothing. Now there are some spots here where if you jump off of them, you will die to fall damage. Alright, I think that'll do it for this. Alright. Moving on. See any of these barrels. Moving on. Now when we do get to the Ixillis fight, we're going to try and get the Hive Cannon. I'll talk about both the weapons that you can get. Now with the Unclean One, most of the bosses, if not, I mean all of the larger bosses, are going to have multiple, you're going to have alternate kills. The Unclean One, okay, this is Ixillis. You know it's Ixillis because there's a full-size crystal in here. Alright, so what we're going to do is, there's a bunch of different ways you can do this fight. Now, I do recommend putting something on here that that has some ammo capacity, and that's just because the wisps can really there's some. We'll talk about it in a second, but you're going to need the ability to shoot these small white wisps. The boss is going to create them. Alright. If you come down here, there's always going to be 2 ammo boxes right here. Now I'm going to do my best to come in here and and explain this fight while I'm doing it and not die, but this can be a tricky fight, so I might die. When we go in here, the boss is going to be over on the left-hand side. You're going to start out the fight. At some point, the boss is going to summon some wisps. They're going to kind of slowly move from the background toward you. You can shoot them. It does not take much to pop them. While you're kind of focused on that, you need to keep an eye on the boss. Because the boss is going to be throwing corrosive bombs, doing melee attacks, things of that nature. Now, you can use... There's a couple of ways you can deal with the wisps. You can use something like Veil of the Black Sun or the Bubble Tear. The problem with the Bubble Tear is that it has a cooldown, so you really probably only get to use it once. And the bosses each side, they're going to do that multiple times. Rattleweed will not kill them, but it will draw their attention. So I'm going to try and show that, because Rattleweed is an easy mod to get. So if you're struggling with this fight, Rattleweed can be a good option when that happens, because it'll kind of collect them over at the Rattleweed, and then at some point you can just kind of pop them all right there in a group. Now there's another boss hanging up there, and at some point that boss is going to drop. You can shoot that boss while it's hanging, and it'll drop. It'll lose a quarter of its health, so it'll start the fight a little low. Now there's 2 items that you can get from this fight. One is the Hive Stone, which will let you craft the Hive Cannon. The other one is the Guardian Tentacle, which will let you craft the Guardian Axe. We're going to try and get the Hive Stone for the Hive Cannon. Now, in order to get that, you need to kill one boss, and then you need to let the other boss get enraged. And you'll kind of know it. They'll scream, their eyes will start glowing. If you want the Guardian Axe, you need to kill them in rapid succession. So you need to get them both really low, and then pop, kill them both, and you'll get that. So we're going to start this out. We're going to take a little bit of that. We got ammo. Got our stuff on. So let's go in here and try not to die. Now at some point, the boss is going to start doing this laser blast. It's going to start at one end to the bridge and work its way to the other side. This bridge has a railing on it. The railing will break kind of throughout the fight. And you can fall off of here. Okay. So it's gonna do that. We're gonna shoot that down. And you see they'll start gathering up. It can kill its own wisps. Oh, got me there. Alright, if you're not sure what section or what part the boss is at, you really want to watch out for the beams. Now, it's always going to start the beam on one side. So you see there it goes. So we're going to hang out here. And the next time it happens, we're going to run this way. And now we're out of the way of it. We need some ammo. Now they're going to do this little maneuver. You need to do some damage to them. Or they're going to scream, and it can hurt you. So that one's going to retreat for a minute. We're just gonna be dealing with this one. Oop. Don't watch that stuff. Drop that down. Stay away from those edges if you're not sure. Just like that. That's exactly how it happens. You want to stay away from the edges. Once you see it hit, to try and run past it. I waited a little bit too long there. But you get the idea. We're just going to go straight back in. And we need to make sure that we're not killing them too quickly. We want to be able to get that hive cannon. Just going to draw them all. He was nice enough to kill most of them there. Alright, he's going to do his maneuver there. Alright, that one's going to retreat. Kind of keep in mind where you're getting them to place those. Get past this. Killing its own wisp there. Now we're going to run past. Almost dead. We're going to kill this one and let the other one get enraged. Alright. And that should do it. Alright. Not too bad. Hopefully, I was able to explain that fight in some understandable way. It can be a tricky fight, especially if you're trying to kind of manage them. And again, the biggest danger in here, or how I've normally died, like you just saw happen, is I get a little bit, I'm waiting for something. I move a little too late, and you get clipped by that giant beam, and it will just blast you right off of this bridge. Nothing happened if you tend to neutral dodge like I do. If you're back here, you can neutral dodge yourself right off of this. But it's a really fun fight, and like I was saying before, if you're let's exit out of here. We'll go out the way we came here. We'll go to this crystal. And something I wanted to mention earlier. Whenever you have a boss fight, like we're gonna go ahead and grab the hive cannon while we're at it here. Back to Ward 13. I was kind of trying to do it in there, but when I first started playing Souls games, a friend of mine, I did not come up with this. I was having trouble with some boss, and they said, well, just go in the boss room and don't attack. And I've used that method for all this time, and it works. One thing you'll learn when you do that, you may already be doing that. This is the hive cannon. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that up. One thing you'll learn when you do that is how much time you actually have. When you don't realize it, when you're in a boss fight, especially one like that is super chaotic. You got a boss on either side. You got these wisps running around. They're doing melee attacks. One of them's, doing a scheduled blast your ass off the bridge maneuver. And you're trying to attack. It can seem like it's just absolute chaos. If you go in there and you don't attack, just survive. And that could be any boss. It could be, it could be Ixillis. It could be Radagon. It could be Father Gascoigne. It could be whatever boss it is that you're struggling with. Give yourself that. Just go in there, put your weapons away, and just survive. And you do that a few times, and you will come out of there just so much better at that fight. You'll know those periods where it's like, well, nothing's going on right now. I'm just standing here. This is the time to be doing damage. Or, maybe this isn't quite enough time to be doing damage. We're going to go over the hive cannon here. And FYI, I'm leaving all the deaths in this walkthrough. I'm not removing any deaths. I know some people. This is a fantastic weapon for just so many reasons. It does corrosion damage. This works kind of like the Spore Bloom, but it's just super powerful. Great weapon. Just all around fantastic. It holds 5 shots. We're going to switch back over to our old trusty here. Alright. Okay. What else? We're going to go right back to that same dungeon. We'll come out of there and we'll head to where we're going from there. But yeah, I'm leaving all the deaths in Sagrado. I've seen walkthroughs where they're just super polished and edited, and I enjoy those. But I also enjoy those walkthroughs where you might see a little struggle. And as a player, if you're watching someone do a walkthrough, it can be there's some camaraderie there. Especially if you're coming to a video because you're just getting handled, just getting dusted up by a boss, and you see someone that generally knows what they're doing, they're getting killed. It's kind of like, all right, maybe it's not me. Maybe it's not just me. So I'm leaving it all in there. But that is 9 times out of 10 how that boss fight's going to go poorly. It's kind of a theme with this game. Where are we going here? To the right. Kind of a theme with this game. This is not a, I probably won't get any more heart charges after this. 8 is probably too many already. This game is not a battle of attrition, heal 6 or 7 times in a boss fight kind of game. This is you're playing perfect, and then you make one mistake that snowballs into 2 mistakes, and you're dead. Which is what makes it fun. We're just going to kind of pass through here. Don't sweat it, buddy. I don't think there's anything over here. So I'm going to back up in here for a second. Oh, the map. Again with the map. There's some guys coming up here. That guy has dodged me. Alright. Down here where we look at the map. Yeah, nothing up there. Thought there might be another, there might be one more dungeon, but there is not. There is a chest down here, so we'll grab it. Alright. In that case, we are going to head out of here. Let's go back and get to the crystal. We're going to run over to the Iskal Queen and go through that. Then we're going to get our new armor set. Let's jump over here. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter one. Okay. It's telling us to return to the Undying King, but we're going to go up here.
You have done it. The Iskal saw it all. Will you give us its heart? Yes.
We're going to give it to her.
Yes. And here, as promised, what intrigues you?
We're going to get a bunch of goodies. Now, I forgot to do this when I was here last time. She does sell the scythe.
Return often, please.
Let's see. Oh, I didn't even take. Totally forgot to take. But see, that's the thing about that fight. No consumables are going to save you from that fall, so it doesn't really matter. We'll take it. We'll take some for the Undying. Okay. I'll show this real quick. Kind of interesting moveset. Now, we're going to throw on Slayers. So this is the Slayer set. And no, I'll show this real quick. Assassin reloading increases the total damage dealt to the next enemy hit with that weapon. Lasts 10 seconds. Reload speed is increased by 10%. 3 pieces, you get 30% damage. It's made for sniper rifle. It comes with the crossbow. The crossbow is another excellent weapon. It's similar in damage and use to the sniper rifle. The main difference with this weapon, it has some advantages and some disadvantages. It's quiet, so if you're going through a dungeon with a lot of ranged enemies and you're trying to kind of get through there without causing a ruckus, crossbow's great. But it is a projectile weapon, which means that if you're shooting something that's kind of at a distance, it's moving, you're gonna have to lead them. Whereas the sniper rifle is an instant hit. It's point and click. The crossbow, there's some travel time for that bolt, and so it is easy to miss things that are at a distance. So let's see. This is already level 6. We may pump a couple upgrades because we're gonna go and we're gonna fight the Undying King. I'm gonna go back to the ward for a second. Like I said before, the Undying King is he's a higher level, and really you don't even have to go fight him right now if you don't want to. You can wait until you level up some more. As long as you don't re-roll your campaign, he's going to be standing there waiting. So you can run some adventure mode or whatever you want to do. Let's see. We're going to... but I should say, before you can get the key, before you can get to Yesha, you'll have to kill him because he's got the key. He's got the key to Yesha in the labyrinth. Let's see here. Let's see if we can get a couple in here. We'll go up to 8, maybe 9. Weapons. Bring them up a bit to 9.
Be safe out there.
That should be fine. Come here.
I'm not in the mood for chat.
4 traits. Got Executioner. Throw 5 in there. Executioner is going to increase your critical chance. Alright. Now we have another simulacrum that we picked up, but I'm not going to use it. You also use simulacrum for maxing out weapons. We may not even get to that point, but we may. We start running through the DLCs and well, we don't want this. We want where did oh yeah. Not that Rattleweed is a terrible idea in here, because he's gonna at a point in this fight. We should throw this on just to be safe. And we'll hit the crystal. Alright. Alright, so when we go in here, we're going to refuse him, because we've already given the heart to someone else. He's going to start the boss fight. We're going to have to deal with those guys up there. There's going to be a point where he starts walking. He's going to come down in here, and then he's going to start walking back up those stairs, and he's going to start summoning lurkers, and there's going to be a whole mess of them. He's going to go up there, and he's going to heal, and we're going to fight him some more, and we will eventually kill him. I haven't done this fight in a while, so I don't know if it still does this thing with the pistol, but let's hope not. But it might.
Have you the heart?
Oh, hang on.
Terribly.
Almost forgot. Keep forgetting to do this. We're going to use our Mud-Tooth Stew, Mud-Tooth Tonic, our Divine Nectar, and our Jerky. Now we're nice and buffed up. Add one of those to the mix. Why not?
Have you the heart? How terribly arrogant child. You shall see why.
Well, let's get our asses handed to us.
Dying. Attend to me, dear. There is an intruder in our midst.
Okay, he just summoned some orbs behind me. See him right there. Oh, good lord. Getting off to a good start. He hits pretty hard. was looking around because I didn't see his orbs above him. Then when I got further out in the room, they were there. I'll have to keep an eye out for that.
Arrogant. Attend. There is an...
There we go. That was a very nice crit there. These guys will be all over you. Need to get up here a little bit. Alright, that's gonna drop him. These guys are gonna come out. Another one over there. Reload here. I'll be able to just finish him off here. Okay. This is another fight that you're not going to get this fight in survival. When you play a lot of survival, you're going to fight these bosses a lot, and they're going to become fairly comfortable. Ixillis, you will fight in survival. But unless you play through the campaign, you're not going to fight this guy a whole bunch. Playing through survival, he's not in the rotation. Just something to keep in mind. Second time didn't go too bad. So we got a couple things here. We got the Undying Heart, and we got the Labrynth key. And so we're going to run back to the Ward 13. We'll get the rifle. We'll go over to the Labrynth. But it is a fun fight. You can get overwhelmed in there, but in general, I think it's a fairly well-designed boss encounter. I'm going to grab the weapon.
Yeah.
This weapon has a great sound to it.
Yeah. That'd be worth my time. We're done here.
It also puts up that kind of geometric glowing symbol. I don't know if it needs to be charged to do that, but yeah, it does. Yeah. So if this mod is charged, you're going to get this symbol above your headpiece here, and that's letting you know that if you die, it's going to pop you back up. You can also zoom in with this weapon. It's kind of like a 3-round burst sniper rifle kind of But it is a fun weapon. It can be pretty handy. Alright. Now at this point, let's see. So we've wrapped up the base game campaign Corsus playthrough. Now there's events and bosses that we did not get from the base game. And as I was explaining earlier, it can be... I also want to show you this. It's alternate skin, just kind of gives it a glowing effect. For this Slayer's armor, it changes the name to the Harbinger. So, since the Corsus DLC is tied to Corsus Adventure mode, I don't want to just go in and look for the dungeons we missed from the base game and then skip the rest of them. So we're going to do the Corsus DLC and Adventure mode, the additional areas. We're going to do them together. And we're going to do that in the next video. And I will, as we go through those events, need to go to the Labyrinth. As we go through those events, I will, I'll identify if this is from the base game, if this is from the DLC. Okay. At this point, head to the right. And if you walk over here and touch one of these signs, it's going to tell you right there at the top it is Yesha. Now we have the key. Again, you either have to give the Undying King the heart and get the key, or you got to kill him and get the key. Those are your options. We're going to use this key. And like we did before, we're going to just walk into Yesha. We're going to grab the first crystal. And once again, if you do give him the heart, you will get the ribbon. It's another melee weapon. It's like a lifesteal element to it. Alright. And that is that. So, I'm going to end things here to chop this video off so I can keep it trimmed for YouTube. But yeah, so we're plugging right along. We have quite a bit to do in Corsus because I don't know how long that video is going to be. I don't know if I'm going to start that tonight or if I'm going to pick that back up tomorrow night. But there is going to be quite a bit there because there's events that we didn't get from the base game, and there's a whole bunch of new stuff. One of the things we're going to do is try and do the event with the Iskal Queen and the Graveyard Elf, and that event can be that there's some legwork that you got to do. And like I said before, I'm going to bring a friend of mine in to do some co-op. And during that video, there's 2 armor sets in this game. Those being the Labrynth and the Carapace armor sets. Those armor sets are they take a while to get. So probably in this, because in this is the DLC where you would get both those armor sets. So I will show both those armor sets, and I'll give you a full explanation of how to get those armor sets while we're doing the Corsus DLC. So if you're seeing this on YouTube, I can't tell you how much I appreciate just a view. You know, like and subscribe if you want. Every little bit helps. I'm trying to get this channel off the ground. I have a bunch of stuff I want to do, and I'm coming up. I mean, this walkthrough is going pretty quickly, so I am going to start Dark Souls 2. I promise, very soon. I was trying to start it this week, but I want to put as much attention into this Remnant walkthrough as I can. So again, thanks a bunch for any support. I really appreciate it, and I will see you next time.